The second concept here on the magic of doing hard things is that, and this is where a lot of people go sideways, and you alluded to it a little bit, but you have to embrace the journey. Strength training is boring.
Yeah.
Being physically fit is horribly boring. Being married for 50 years, when you look at like what it takes to be successful, they're very boring things. To be financially independent, it's boring. Investing like Warren Buffett, the greatest investor ever, is wildly boring. And you have to embrace the journey. And this alludes a little bit to what we talked about on the last episode, where we're talking about how to measure your progress and measure your success, that you can't keep hostage your joy and enthusiasm in the actual goal.
Right.
The measuring while pursuing the goal has to be done backwards, where you notice progress so that you can celebrate. I'm doing hard things.
Yeah.
Am I at my fitness goal? Nope. You're still not at your fitness goal.
Nope.
I'm not at my fitness goal. But in a way, it kind of doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the horizon, and we're using it as a direction to make sure we're on the right path. But we're always looking backwards to say, 2022, I'm going to be more powerful than I was the year before. And when you can actually measure with either weights or reps or fatigue or just you can't help but notice progress.
Yeah.
And it's so huge. And I think that is the magic in these hard things. It's hard in the beginning to be disciplined at anything, partly because it's boring.
Yeah.
But you talk to people who save, who invest, they hit this tipping point where all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, I'm actually going to double down because I'm now getting the windfall of the benefit of perpetual hard thing doing.
And I think, too, is that the motivation comes later for a lot of these things, especially when it comes to strength training. You and I both don't jump out of bed first thing in the morning
Initially.
wanting to run or wanting to
it's
go
a
work
fist
out.
fight.
But you do it anyway. You do it unmotivated because you're at the point where, like you said, I want the result. And
Yes.
so you get to that point where kind of that tipping point, and I think everybody's is different, that the staying on track is easier than getting off track. For me personally, if I do get off track where I'm inconsistent or take a few days off in a row, now I'm like, ooh, I have to get back at it because I miss it. Or I know that the end result is 2 more days, and that's 5 days, and then it's another week, and then it's a month, and that's not healthy. So, getting to that point where you self-course, you've called it like course correcting. It's okay to rest, and it's okay to take a break. Just don't stay there.
Yep.
But do it unmotivated. Do it when you don't feel like it, and that's doing hard things.
All bigger, better future requires sacrifice in the here and now. There is nothing that we aspire to in our future self that is a better version of ourself that doesn't require sacrifice.
Yep.
And suffering. And the challenge with implementing a strength training program is that in the short term, you don't see the results.
Right.
And you actually get a negative feedback because it hurts. And so every aspect of it seems really, really hard. And so in the beginning, it's so critical that the result is bigger than the pain.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, and I'm there, I look forward to working out now. I've learned to love the journey. I've learned to understand that the 60 to 90 minutes I spend 5 days a week putting my body through uncomfortable routines, that's actually the gateway, this little narrow gateway that I have to go through on a regular basis. And then on the back end, it opens me up to all the freedom and the benefit that I'm looking for. And I have certainty what's on the other side. So I actually get excited about going into these painful short-term situations because the short-term suffering creates long-term freedom.
Yeah.
as opposed to short-term benefit by saying, no, it's too cold. No, I'm sore. No, I'm tired. No, I have a busy morning. And yeah, in the short term, it's easier, but it creates long-term lack of achieving and suffering.
Yeah. And you've shared with me too that getting the hard thing done out of the way first thing, like the rest of your day is great.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of things getting my life back together that are significant, but I honestly can't tell you one thing that would be more impactful or that has been more impactful than doing the hardest thing I'm going to do physically as soon as I'm out of bed.
Yeah.
The rest of the day has just this funny way of being kind of laughable. Like running in 17 degrees. I hate running. I certainly hate running in the dark and the cold. And I'm not even awake yet. I don't even wait till I'm awake. I used to make the mistake of waiting till I'm awake to go running. And I found out, well, the best way to wake up is to just go run.
Yeah.
I wake up as I'm like my first 20 strides. I'm like, well, oh yeah, and I'm kind of waking up. I just believe hard choices, doing hard things gives you an easy life. Doing easy things gives you a hard life.
Ooh, that's good.
There is no better future that doesn't require doing hard things. And the more we can, in the short term, realize the results are worth the pain,
Yep.
and we give enough time, we will begin to experience the back end enough that you do hit a tipping point where you then start craving the discipline.
Yeah.
And that's the magic.
Yep.
That's the that's how you get married and you stay married for 75 years. You embrace the journey. There are hard things that you have to do in the short term, like sacrifice what you want for someone else.
Yep.
Right? Those are hard to do.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to embrace those and see the beauty in those, you look forward to those opportunities to be selfless, because you understand the blessing and the reward on the other end is far greater than your selfish ambitions.
Yeah.
Right? Same in saving, same in wealth building, you know. Yeah, the Ferrari's really, really nice.
It is.
But does it fit with the long-term plan? And is there more reward by taking those dollars and resources and applying them to something else that will give a much grander reward on the back end? And the answer is almost always yes.
Yeah.
So fall in love with the process, fall in love with the results. The best case scenario is that you fall in love with the process and the results, because you need the love of the results to get started until you hit that tipping point, and then you love the process.
Yeah.
And I'm there, and I love the process because I love where I'm at, and I understand I'm not confused how I got here, and I understand that if I stop doing what I'm doing, I'm going to lose what I have that I worked so hard to get.
That's right.
And it's easier for me to just stay the course at this point.
Restarting is hard.
Restarting is super hard.
Yeah.
And especially when you know and you're very aware of what you've lost. They've done studies where they give people an apple. I think it was not people, but it was monkeys. They gave a monkey an apple, each one apple, and they measure kind of their joy and excitement and kind of their response to that. They do another study where they give one monkey 2 apples and one monkey 1 apple, and then they take away the 1 apple, and they still have the 1 and 1, but the one who lost, the pain from the feeling of losing is greater than the gain.
Wow. Yeah.
This is why weight struggles can be so powerfully negative. You know, it's when you feel like you've lost what you had gained, or gained back what you've lost in this example. You know, it's better to not have made $100,000 on your investment than to make 200 but lose 100.
Right.
Even though it's the same net economic impact, the psychological impact is that, yeah, but I lost. It could have been so much more.